Hi guys, Selena Walker here, and today I want to talk to you about essential oils. How natural are they? How sustainable are they? And really, how essential are they? And by essential oils, I'm talking about these guys that come in the little brown bottles. Now, I don't know if it's anything like where I live, but over the last decade, these little guys have become so popular. And years ago, it was only qualified aromatherapists and people that had gone through a lot of training used these essential oils. And I just want to have a chat with you about, should we be using them, the quantities that we are using them today? And I'm going to start by a subject that's really close to my heart, by looking at, how essential are they, but mainly how sustainable are they? When you're talking about essential oils, they are not the whole plant. So as a herbalist, when I am making macerated oils, I put the whole plant or maybe just the whole flower, but as nature intended, all the chemicals, all the medicine in the oil. Now, essential oils are just taking out the volatile organic compounds, VOC. And the volatile organic compounds have been remarketed as the word essential oils because, let's be fair, volatile organic compounds does not sound sexy, whereas essential oil, you think, well, that must be essential. Do I need them? Great marketing. But as far as sustainability is concerned, when you are producing these little bottles, 98% of the plant is wasted. And that is average, it's between 5 and 2% of the plant is actually used. But on average, 98% of the plant is wasted. So only 2% of the plant is used. So you were using acres upon acres of growing plants to waste 98% of it. Does that sound sustainable? And, these days, land use is talked about a lot. And roughly around 1.5 million acres is currently being used to grow plants for essential oils. And that land could grow far more medicine if it wasn't essential oils, if it was just growing pure herbal medicine for tinctures, capsules, oils, or even floral waters. Or it could be growing a heck of a lot of food, couldn't it? So there's a lot of land now being used for these essential oils because they've increased in popularity. And one of the reasons that is because of the great marketing, as I said, using the name essential oils rather than volatile organic compounds. And there's a lot of pyramid schemes out there that have really pushed these. Chances are you've had some essential oils pushed on you the last couple of years. And the other thing, many people have lost out as a result of these pyramid schemes, signed up, had to put a big financial investment, pay money every month, and it isn't getting the income that they were promised. So on a sustainable level, looking at the human impact it's having as well as the land impact. So many of these very high-level marketing companies boast about the amount of plants that are used to get in these tiny little bottles. So just to quote some of the figures that are on some of these websites. So between 3 and 15 pounds of pure peppermint plant is used for a 15ml bottle of oil. So what does that work out? Well, that works out about 22 grams of plant per drop. Let me say that again, 22 grams of plant per drop. And if you kind of work that out, that's kind of roughly equivalent of 10 peppermint tea bags per drop. And it's even more stronger than that for the body because it's not just 10 tea bags, as in 10 tea bags of the whole plant as nature intended. It's 10 tea bags of volatile organic compounds. And that is massive. I mean, there's no way you could drink 10 tea bags of peppermint oil in one go. And yet people are putting 1 drop of peppermint oil in water, and we'll go on to that later. Other figures that they quote are 242,000 rose petals for 5 ml of oil. Let me say that again because that just blows my mind away. think about how that would look. If I had 242,000 rose petals here on this table with me, and that would squeeze into a 5ml bottle. So that's smaller than that bottle. That's absolutely insane. 63 pounds of lemon balm, which equals around 2.8 kilos if you work in kilos. 2.8 kilos of lemon balm for 5ml of oil. It's just absolutely bonkers. We're talking about here black bags full, not just one, but black bagfuls of plant, and you end up with this much oil. It's absolutely insane. And that is the reason why some of these oils are so expensive, but it's just not a sustainable practice. And when you think about it, the reason it's not sustainable is because it's not essential. Now, as I'm talking about this, you can hear my voice getting louder because it's a subject that's become really close to my heart recently. And you know, I've had the boxes full of the oils. In fact, I've still got some here and I don't really know what to do with them now after researching all these years. And what got me started really is when we moved into our caravan, first of all, we weren't washing lots. We were having a trug wash in those big tubs in front of the fire. We didn't have any access to outdoor shower or anything, first of all. So quite often if I was going out, I might have been a bit self-conscious about that. So I'd always wear a scarf, particularly in the winter, or, you know, whatever clothing I had on. And I'd just put a couple of drops of essential oil on that clothing, just to smell a bit nicer and maybe to cover any dodgy smells, shall we say, that might be coming from me. But what got me thinking is after a couple of years of not adding these oils to my clothes and them going through the washing machine, they were still smelling of these oils. And I'd moved over to these oils because they were so-called natural. But I was starting to think, you know, are they natural if they're this strong? What is going on here? And that is when I discovered that they were actually, the real name was volatile organic compounds. And some of you might be aware of that term because if you buy a tub of paint, you'd always want to look for one that says low VOC, because otherwise, if you're around it, it'll make you feel quite high, headachy, because of the impact of the volatile organic compounds. And yet we've now been marketed these as a good thing to use every day, and that is what I want you to question. These are being added to oils. So years ago, if you bought, say, lavender oil, it was lavender oil. It was lavender. The whole plant had been added to oil to pull out all the medicinal qualities, and that was put in a jar of oil. Now, it's simply usually just oil, say olive oil, sunflower oil, with a couple of drops of lavender oil added to it. So unsustainable, but also the smell of these oils is so strong, it stops you being able to smell whether the base oil has gone rancid. So that's a big, big win for many cosmetic companies that are selling their products as natural, because they can use oils that aren't that fresh, and we might not notice when these oils or the creams or the moisturisers we are buying with these essential oils in, we might not notice when they've gone off because we purely can't smell it above the strong smell of the essential oils. And if we are rubbing rancid oil into our skin is our largest organ. We absorb products far quickly through our skin and through our digestive tract. That rancid oil, our body has to do something with it. It might not recognise it because it's rancid, and it will have a choice of either to get it out, and that might come out in the skin with rashes, spots, irritation, or our body will have to store it, and that takes energy. Now, the other thing that essential oils are sneakily being used in is herbal tea bags. Again, herbal teas used to be something that you put in a teapot, a load of plants, flowers, you could see them, it was beautiful. Then we've gone to these little tea bags that if you open up, many of you, you'd be shocked at what's inside, but that's a whole nother video. But many of them now are using crappy herbs and flowers, let's be fair, really old, rancid again, and adding essential oils to the tea bags to give you that strong smell and flavour. So let's start talking about the second question that I wanted to cover. Are they natural? Well, my main concern working with clients is how many clients are now purchasing these from these so-called professional companies that, let's be fair, have one thing in focus, money, and they are being told by non-professionals to take these internally. Now, it is only in an extreme circumstance that a herbalist or qualified aromatherapist would advise you to take these internally. It's very, very, very few cases I could think of. But people that are selling these products are inviting you to put it a couple of drops or even one drop in water and drinking that every day, some of them. That is just absolutely insane. For a start, these oils do not disperse in water. Everyone knows that. Oil floats in water. So the first couple of mouthfuls you have, you're going to have the full force of that essential oil in it. The oils are going to go in and they burn your mucous membranes. So many people have problems these days with mucous membranes and digestive issues. These should not be taken internally. Now, me, myself, I've used them in chocolate making in the past, and that's not quite as bad because they are being dispersed in an oily substance. But I'm also just about to upgrade all the courses that I do to make sure that I can teach people that we do not have to use these essential oils. And the main reason for that is because sustainability is at the heart of what I do. And I don't think anybody that works with plants, that honours the plants, that sees the plants as them friends and works in harmony with the plants, can put their hand in their heart and use essential oils in their products, unless in extreme circumstances, that's the only thing that could help that person. And that is in very, 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 very rare cases. You know, what I'm now seeing with these is people are using them every day, everywhere. So they might be using them in their laundry, they might be using them as an air freshener, in their drinks, in their skincare products, in their food. And they are almost like the new salt and sugar. They are numbing our senses, they numbing our smell, because we are now only able to smell things if they have these strong essential oil smells that are far stronger than plants, and which means they are far stronger than nature intended. It's just too much in one go. And if you are using them in your water, in your food, then it's numbing your taste buds like sugar and salt. And it means that you become less sensitive to subtle tastes, and that can be an issue as well. But also, if you've got them everywhere, you are simply breathing them in all the time. And we forget what we breathe in, we are taking in just as we would on our skin and digestively. Let's be fair, we all know passive smoking is bad for us. Well, what about passive inhalation of volatile organic compounds on a daily basis? I'll leave that for you to think about. So other things to think about. Well, we've talked about how they're not sustainable. We've talked about how they can hide the rancidity in oils. We've talked about how they can be sneakily added to things such as tea bags. We've talked about how they can burn your mucous membranes and how we should not be taking them internally. We've talked about them being prescribed by non-professionals, how suddenly everyone is a herbalist. And I've been shocked and quite frankly scared by how these are being prescribed. It deserves a second of silence to just, I'm concerned. I'm massively concerned. Because let's be fair, these essential oils are in the plants because they are there to either poison insects or attract pollinators. So if we are using them in these large quantities and these volatile organic compounds poison the insects, are they just another form of acceptable pesticides that we are using in our environment every day? And we've kind of been fooled by a lot of marketing companies that because they're natural. But yes, the product comes from nature, but it's been so isolated away from nature. We have to ask, is that product natural now? It's certainly not as nature intended, and it's nowhere near the quantity as nature intended. Going back to that rose petals, 242,000 rose petals in 5 ml of oil. If you get through 5 ml of oil in a year, Would you really get through using 242,000 rose petals in a year? And the other thing, talking about that, is these have a very, very, very short shelf life. And because they're volatile organic compounds, they're classed as hazardous waste. So that's another sustainable issue. How would we get rid of them? How much is going to waste when it's actually been grown? And are you using rancid essential oils? So the solution, what is the solution? Well, the solution certainly isn't growing plants and using between 1 to 5% of that plant and throwing away between 95 and 99% of the plant. Because that bit of plant that's not used, the processing, you end up with the oil and you end up with a pile of plant sludge. That's the easiest way of describing it. And that sludge is very difficult to compost. If any of you are composters, you know if your compost heap is sludge, it's not going to happen. So a lot of that waste plant material ends up going to landfill or taking up even more land space, just being dumped in a pile, and will just take forever to sludge down into compost. And you know, what state is that compost going to be in the end, with all those volatile organic compounds taken out but all the sludge put in? Who knows? I haven't come across any studies that have been done on that. So the solution, let's think, okay, let's go to the solution. The solution is the whole plant. I want you to celebrate nature. I want you to celebrate and be full of gratitude for the plants. And you can do that by using the whole plant, not wasting 95% of it. And you can do that by using macerated herbal oils. You could do that by using tinctures, and you can do that by even using floral waters, are far more sustainable. You know, years ago, the process of making essential oils was the process of floral waters. You'd make your floral water, and the essential oil, you'd get a few drops after the process of making floral waters, would be classed as the waste product until marketing came along. So I'm inviting you to embrace the whole plant. I'm inviting you to look for more sustainable options. And those sustainable options may be having products that do smell less. I'm going to be doing a video on macerated herbal oils shortly, because I want to really empower you with the ability of being able to make your own oils. But if you are buying plant oils, have a look. Are they pure plant oils, or are they just oils with volatile organic compounds put into them? Because you're only getting one part of the plant, and it's nowhere near as healing. So I want to leave you asking you to look how and where are essential oils in your life. How essential are they? And ask yourself, do you want to celebrate the plants? Do you want to honour the plants? And do you want to send gratitude to the plants? If you do, essential oils are certainly not essential. Essential oils are unsustainable, not good for our body in the levels we use in them, not good for the planet, and not good for the plants. So I hope I've inspired you to have a good think about essential oils. If you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It really helps get these videos out there, get the wisdom out there, and just get people thinking. Because that's what I'm here to do, is to get you thinking about how we can create a healthy body, a healthy mind, and a healthy planet. And if you want to connect more, you can head on over to my website, selenawalker.earth, and subscribe to my free newsletter. I'll see you soon.